I'm going to kill myself now.
Whoa there, don't do that.
Leave me alone. I have no choice.
Choice? You can choose whatever you want.
And I choose death.
Do you not value anything?
I'm an existentialist. There is no meaning in life.
Wait a second. I think you have the wrong idea. The first step to becoming a true existentialist is liberation from the prison of absurdity.
Huh?
Well, usually prior to becoming an existentialist, a person is faced with the problem of absurdity, the conflict between the constant and intense search for meaning and the inability to find it in life.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you can be liberated from this prison of absurdity.
How? How? Tell me how!
Well, look at the problem with absurdity. The issue is that an absurdist dwells on the fact that there is no meaning to the point where he forgets to live. By accepting that there is no meaning instead of dwelling on it, we can move past it and find value in life.
But isn't valuing things the same as saying there's meaning in life?
Ah, you've hit upon a fundamental tenet of existentialism. Meaning in life implies something called a priori, which is the concept that universal principles exist that precede your existence. In existentialism, though there's no meaning in life, you can still value things as long as you maintain that your values do not precede you. You have formulated and created them.
I don't see the distinction.
For example, if you were Indian...
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, of course. Hypothetically, if you were Indian, and if you were placed in a white person's body, would you still be the same person?
Correct. Yes.
Then, if you were Indian, it doesn't make sense to be proud of being Indian, say, because it's not a part of who you really are. Being proud of being Indian would suggest the existence of the principle of Indian pride that precedes the true you. You're only Indian because you were born in India, but India has existed before you were born and therefore precedes your existence. You should remove all labels that precede your existence, and especially the labels that try to define you, that society has imposed on you.
I'm starting to get this.
Now, as I've said, there's a distinction between having values and having the existence of your values precede your existence. Existentialists have a word for subscription to a philosophical system. As an existentialist, one must try to create one's own meaning in this meaningless life.
How does that make sense?
Instead of subscribing to a universal meaning, the individual makes his own. One finds meaning in life by making his or her own values. But if one tries to escape this task by following a philosophical system or religious system, or tries to escape the issue altogether by distraction through mediums such as drugs or even television, then the person is committing mauvaise foi, or bad faith. An example of good faith is the individual's drive to commit to his values.
Okay, this is starting to make, existentialism sound a lot less depressing. But it does still seem to be very lonely.
It need not be. The existentialist rejects labels and mauvaise foi, and by doing so rejects much of what society has taught him.
Then how can one be alone and interact with other members of society?
While the existentialist must isolate himself from the corrupting influence of the world, he also has the opportunity to reform the world. It is entirely up to the existentialist to do so. If the existentialist does not want to be alone, he does not have to. He can choose to interact with society in a positive way, sharing his passions with the world. The existentialist values action, not thinking. Our actions have a tangible effect on the outcome of the world. We can make the choice to impact society, and in that sense, the existentialist need not be alone.
Huh. I am now an existentialist.
Glad to hear.
Give me my license, please.
And now you know
How to be
an existentialist. Thank you. Goodbye.